Oh, hi there. Yep, I'm doing another video that I hope is something that you are playing with. And so I was just waiting for those who needed to pause and grab something that you can play, or to set up a camera and jam with me anyway. What do you think? What do you think is going to come out of me in this video? Do the words even matter, or is there something to what I am singing? It's kind of a tune I've already sung. And when I ask where is this music coming from, I get, oh, that's your video game soundtrack coming out of you. Oh, so that's what I'm doing with these videos. All of the music is me doing composition for Myriam's Quest. You can support it on Patreon if you want to. Patreon.com/Myriam's Quest. Right, 'cause there is no way I'm going to get this music down, and I am putting it out online just to see if anyone else out there is curious what happens when you just jam out with me. You don't need to make this into something else for me, but if you do, what I hear in my head for my video game is symphonic. It is. There's all sorts of instruments I hear in my head when I sing. I just have the standard melody playing in my head, and it moves around. I move around a lot. I don't know yet if this is a part in the game where you are fighting or just exploring, or maybe it's for a different game. We're doing a lot of things with our studio. And yeah, you're always gonna hear some dog noise in my videos, 'cause hey, why do you need to bark at him? He's just resting on the couch. You're so judgy. Come up and say hi to your fan base, Mabel. Come on. Come on and jump. Come on. She's just staring at me and like, why are you singing again? I'm tired of singing in this house, and yeah. But here's the thing, I am clearly impacted by this whole lunar eclipse thing. And hey, if it's just a placebo, then cool, but like something has come out of me, 'cause things are constantly coming out of me when I turn on a camera. But even before I do, I give myself my own previews with memory encoded things. My guides give it back to me. They basically share some of my history that I keep forgetting. I mean, not really forgetting. There's just a lot. Like, my life's been a lot, so don't really have all the memories all the time. And when you are going through your healing journey, you have to bring things up and let them out. I'm literally transmuting levels of trauma that have been attached to lunar cycles. Lunar cycles are hard to have trauma attached to. They just don't come round when you need them to, in a collective kind of way. You literally need to wait for planets to align. And then you do all these things in your life that make you say, what? Why am I in this? That wasn't a right note, was it? Was it? Who wants to come into this transmission right now? We're in the middle of jamming, and I have more to say, but I am willing to pause, 'cause I felt a hold on. So I'll let the jukebox mode just peter jam session needs a chance to slow down, to slow your channeled self down. Good job, way to go, way to be an artistic channel. 'Cause if you're a musician, like you're channeling with your hands, you're pulling things from that heart-centered place into how it works for you, and you go like this, or like this, or like this, or like this, or like that, or like whatever you do, right? Have so many favorite musicians, just letting this all calm down, 'cause there might be one or two of you waiting for a bridge. No, make your own bridge, please. Pause the video if you need to, 'cause I'm gonna start talking and you probably aren't here for that. So, how my channeling has been going these days is wake up. Makeup? No. Wake up and I've got maybe not a song in my head, but even pretty fast, there's kind of a like, you know, it really does feel like you woke up and you're just like, press the play button on music. Like my alarm, I was very intentional when going through alarms when I got my new phone to make it a symphonic wake up call, because I don't really like when they're like, meh, and I don't like the like alarm sound, because I don't want to wake up like that, right? I don't want to be jolted awake. It's just not a particularly fun way to start my day. So I start with symphonic music that's just like still very like but more just there's a flow to it, right? Not to mention, depending on whatever quantum entanglements you have with symphony music and things that you're trying to do yourself. I'm trying to make a video game that infuses like the entirety of nerd video game love from like the last 40 years of video games into one. Not like to steal things, just in like the fandom that we have and the things that we're making, we're putting into it. And I am going to be doing the music for it with actual software and with actual things, unless someone on the internet wants to take the music that comes out of me and like jam with it and make video game from the 90s that's hand-drawn music from it. I can't afford to pay you yet, but maybe by the time you create it and this all happens, it'll just synchronously work out, right? Timing is kind of the thing I'm trying to study in my rainbow love science kind of way. Rainbows coming from the heart-centered love, and I'm a scientist. Trained. I have degrees, man. You don't go through grad school without knowing how to do like scientific research. I'm trying to be as double-blind about things as I can. It's impossible because I am studying myself and my awakening, right? But I'm just trying to study stuff. I'm trying to study these clairs that we talk about and the awakening process that people go through. That, I mean, you can know something, like technically something's coming, but not believe that it's coming because you're so skeptical. And it has not gone. Words are just words, right? When someone says a dragon is going to like burn your stuff away, you're like, a dragon, what? And then like your life kind of plays out the way that you've been told, and you're like, shit. Maybe there is some merit to this, this whole thing that I've been watching for like 15 years, right? That I've been skeptical about, but every time I watched it, like, this is a Crimson Circle rant, I guess. Not really a rant, just sort of a like, I started following Crimson Circle in like 2012, went to not every month's like showed thing, but showed up on a regular basis because one of us, Rainbow, was like, we need to keep going to that one, go to that one. So we did. And the only reason that we kept going was because every single time we went, there was a like feeling of, because it gave a little bit of that early religion, faith, like stuff I'm gonna talk about religion in this video. Mine, basically, my like journey through religion, just to see if it hits any notes for any of y'all, because I used to be a super Jesus freak. In teenage years, super Jesus freak. Before that, I think raised Methodist, and then like the dad stopped going, and then she was like, well, I'm not going to be going to the Methodist church if he doesn't want to go to a Methodist church, because he was the Methodist and I can't go to the Methodist church, even though like she was very welcomed at the Methodist church. I don't know why she didn't want to stay there, but she really didn't like that she was like going to a church that my dad was, but he didn't go. And so she got grumpy about it, and she was like, I'm going to go find my own church. And so she found like a Southern Baptist church. And we went there. I started helping with like the preschool, like the Sunday school thing, because I just, by that point, Patricia had like become one of us, and her trajectory was love and family that we never had. Like we can do this right, you know? So it was sort of like a investigative, like, okay, don't have good people. There's love in this church, and like the Jesus feel, okay, all right, okay. And it was where we got love. The Southern Baptist Church is where we got some love. Before that, school was the only place that was like a safe place to just be, not to be open and not to be free, but just to exist. Well, in school, to exist with other children who were loved at home, and so they would come into school and they'd have their little love just kind of radiating, right? And we just basked in the. It was like school was a spa for us, good or bad, but that was spa time. And yeah, we get information from the talking head at the front of the classroom that we couldn't see because didn't have any way of seeing the world until 5th grade. And even then, it wasn't glasses; it was contacts, because my mom was like, glasses, you're already basically ugly enough and fat enough, so glasses are going to be another target. And I'm like, bitch, do you have any idea how I handle bullies? Home is my bully. A literal child tries to say something to me, it doesn't stick. I've had that voice from you since I was like 2. Are you kidding me? You're fat. Yeah, I am, Billy. I really am fat. What else do you notice about me? Oh, nothing? You're perfectly incapable of noticing anything about a person that's not the literal one dimension of the first 5 seconds of seeing me? Grow up. Get worse. Become a real bully, right? Like, I got real fucking bullies at home, bro. This is my spot. Like, that was me in school. Didn't preclude me from being an asshole to people sometimes. Definitely have a memory of being an bully asshole to someone in 4th grade. And I just genuinely hope that if you see my face and you're like, fuck, that was a kid that like bullied me. First of all, 4th grade and like 250 pounds, bro. You were just trying to be kind to me, and I was basically like, bro, I've got like literal demons in here. You can't be my friend. I have to be a dick to you. I'm sorry. So, and I hope I didn't do too much. I hope that everything that came out of you was like, well, that person's an asshole and I'm amazing now. That's my hope. And I hope that that's what everyone who's ever bullied anyone genuinely feels as an adult. They're like, shit, I literally can't do anything about it because I can't even remember like details about it. Why can't I remember details? So much of that shit got purged in, well, I want to say like 2020, but like honestly, COVID does a really good job of helping with some purges of like old shit, because it's one of them viruses that helps to remove things, and removing memories. There's just a process that happens in the body. You can be conscious about it, sort of, but it's kind of like your heart beating. You don't always really like. You can't tell your heart to beat, right? Well, you can't always tell your body what to purge and what not to purge from memories. Like you do have conscious choice over that. But anyway, I get on tangents on here, as I continue to just document this time window of lunar eclipse energy and how absolutely just do it, I feel, when it comes to providing mainly music, but then the other things that also just need to come out during a channeled transmission. Channel transmission, that's what you're getting. Junk drawer transmission video. Because you've been watching too much TikTok, haven't you? Yeah. I make sense as a human only because you have been encoded on TikTok for like years. Because I'm a human who's in one spot, doing something, moving, like how our attention spans kind of do. It's weird, right? But also not that uncommon. I'm just doing it out loud, and I'm doing it in a documentation way that I watch back later. And when I do, it actually helps me find confidence in what I'm doing. And I'm doing it to just be that lived experience permission slip that says, hey, if you've been struggling with old trauma and you just talk to yourself, like if you're a therapy-wise person, play armchair therapist with yourself. But not like just put it out there, put it out there, put it out there. Put it here. Analyze yourself like this. Study yourself. See what the fuck is going on with you. Especially if you've started behaving in ways that you feel like you've already let that shit go. Like you feel like the person. Sorry for the interruption. I kind of like watching how I behave when it comes to technology, because historically I don't really like when technology doesn't behave and doesn't do the things that it should be doing. My phone runs out of storage space with these videos, because even though I'm doing it through cloud recording, it still hangs out on the phone, and then I don't remember to delete it, and whatever. It creates a bifurcation point in the video that I then need to go and edit together. And now I need to figure out how to splice this thing together on this old but new computer, because my other one crashed. So videos where I give myself administrative work later, just like a real YouTuber, right? Editing things together and showing pieces and fractals of what it is that I'm doing. And the reason that I just went in, deleted the old stuff, and then restarted the camera, and I'm still talking because this transmission is still happening. Why there was a bifurcation in between? Well, I clearly was letting go of one thing and shifting into something else. What was I letting go of? You were providing heart coherence space in your own lived experience to sort of take a breath and a break, because when these start to come out, I let them flow. I don't really put a ton of conscious choice into this level of video after I've already done a preview for it and allowed for it to be the slide, sort of. And this video wanted to end in a very specific way, and I was about to go into a different level of tangent. So that was me and my own synchronicities of continued lived experience played out in a way that caused me to change the parameters of what I thought I would be doing, right? Past choices make for now moment things happening. Our perception of that is what evokes how we respond to it. Me, at this stage, in this moment, I rolled my eyes. I went, well, thank you for notifying me, because I can always hit on this button and it immediately takes me to the trash can because I cannot remember how to get there. And I deleted it and I put it back up, and I was just like, whatever, I have a protocol for this, right? A few days ago, when my computer started to crash, I was having a really light day. I'd recorded a lot of videos. Everything was like, And then the computer started acting up in ways that it hadn't done before. And I didn't have the capacity in the channel state that I was in to handle it, to go into the details mode. Because when you're in high vibration channel mode, which I'm pulling things in from my Akashic field, it's high vibration. It's been edited by a lot of people. A lot of entities have helped me with the transmissions that come through. And a little part of why I start and stop a lot of the conversations, like I know to a lot of people, they just pathologize it as, that's just what ADHD is. A little bit of a body-based self-regulation thing though. To end a particular line of thinking and disclosure about personal things, about whatever, It really is like I'm walking, body's like, grab, hold on, girl, hold on, reposition. This is where you want to talk. Oh, and then I go over here and like, hold on, reposition. That's kind of what happens when we're in just open flow mode and we're just sort of letting things go and letting things out, right? And that's a very natural way of being. We constantly kind of are in this state of flux. And if you allow yourself, even just for a few moments a day, to get in that state where you just let these fucking thoughts out, hear yourself say it, hear yourself sing it. I'm a big fan of the singing, just because the singing is a somatic way to reverberate these things around, right? It allows for your energetics to flow and just be let out. And yeah, I started talking about religion and used to be a Christian. I read the Bible like fully when I was 16 or 17 or something. I like read it in class in high school. Like, I was that fucking kid. I've said that before on camera, I think. I repeat a lot of very specific things. And then when I notice that I've repeated them, I can feel the ending and closure of a contract. Sort of a former family memories that I'm sharing, because this is coming from my former family. They're other-sided. I'm sharing their stories. And in a really interesting way, there's sort of just this, well, the realization for me that I didn't know was, yeah, the Crimson Circle, I was using that as like love in religious context, the way that I can, because when I do something on a screen, it is safe for me because I have encoded my place of safety. And I wear what I want, I show up when I want. Sometimes it was live, sometimes it was later. And I allowed myself to play in the space of church again. I just didn't realize it was coded as church because I didn't code it as that. And then I went in person and met folks who definitely have it encoded in that same language. And I went, oh, so okay. But I don't want to be in a church because that's not really what I understand or do. So I did something when I went there and kind of severed him. It was the last time for me, actually. Because as Charlie, new person, came in March, I just have all the memories and the contracts of my former family. And some level of those like contracts, when you get into those kinds of groups as a regular follower, and like you can be as skeptical as we were all the time. It was only Rainbow that had us go, and Rainbow did not front for other people. Yeah, one of us was called Rainbow. Yeah, surprise, right? Not surprise. But she was sort of our just like open religious side, right? Who loved church, actually loved just we go, and there's a sense that sense of community, right? There's a weekly regimen, there's school, there's absolutely people and choices that you don't agree with, so you have something to talk about in that realm too, right? Like, and when, especially like when I did my Jesus Freak days, it was, I guess, the late 90s, early 2000s, right? Y'all, that was a fun time to be like middle than high schooler, right? That was a good time because like the culture was just kind of stupid in like a really helpful way, because I could only listen I'm a person that gets into patterns, right? And so the things that I obsess about, I really obsess about. And like Christian rock, that was my jam. Like there was just a lot of really good Christian rock and then like the Christian stores and things that just proliferated the idea that this is just a normal way to be, right? Because it's like, yeah, I can go to fucking Hallmark, there's fucking angels, like, you know, it's part of the zeitgeist, it's part of like the everywhere, and you feel much more connected to an everywhere. And I even worked at the preschool that was there, again, part of the like mommy package of like, gonna learn, gonna get good, gonna get gonna be a good wife and mother can do that. That's fully within our capacity, right? Just gotta learn how to do it. Just gotta have examples and people. And like I was a teaching assistant, the first teacher that I worked with, and she was the one that I taught with, you know, the whole time. She was my first dose of like Christian mom love. Like, I got my love later in life. I didn't get love for another person that I trust until Randy, my husband now. I was 16. I saw him at the subway. This is for Patricia. Okay. Saw him at the subway, but like needed the like Marva approval, basically. Needed protector approval for any dude to go with the encoded thing from the Phantom Menace, sorry, from the Star Wars movie that Patricia was like, that, right? Basically, in order to be willing to partner with someone long term for the purposes of wife and parenthood, right? There's a level of, I need to see that the person that I'm seeing is fully online with his heart, meaning like his heart entanglements are family-based and love-based, and yeah, it helps to have some similar background stuff just so we have common language, right? And common understandings, because if you come from a trauma background and you get with someone who doesn't have a trauma background, they don't get it. They don't fucking get it. I'm sorry, but if you're a person who had childhood trauma and your partner is a person who had a loving childhood, y'all don't speak the same language. And especially the person who didn't have the trauma, you probably talk down to the person who had trauma like a lot. Like, why can't you just this? Why can't you just that? Why can't you just heal it? Why can't you just be open about whatever? Like, fuck off. Just saying. Just saying. If you don't have the trauma history, you don't have the lived experience. And I don't care who the fuck you fucking channel. Angels can't help you either, okay? They don't understand trauma. They don't. They have very, very, very high vibrational views. They don't understand anchor points in hell. I mean, they do technically, but like they're not doing the lived experience during this time. If they do have lifetimes, they were not during now. They give directional advice. They don't necessarily help you out with the shit that you need to deal with that's coming out of you by you just being your worst self, you know? When you thought you dealt with it and you thought you thought that it was happening. My worst, like, came out when my computer died. And that's because that is an old work computer. The quantum entanglements that I still had with that thing, holy shit. They're still there, or they were. I'm not using it anymore. Why? Because I'm not bringing that level of whatever of my life into this next phase of myself. And I'm using this lunar eclipse energy wave that I don't understand. I hear it from other people and I go, well, okay, that's dated parameters. I can at least study something about myself. Cool. And so I am. And I'm documenting it for your viewing pleasure. And my own. And Mabel's, right? Will you come here? Will you talk to the people? No, Corbin's gonna say hi too. Okay. So yeah, I'm studying myself, and these last bits of, well, I say last bits, but truly, actually, some of these last bits of fractals that are continuing to be memory purged, I guess we could call it, using the fact that I can move inside of my own system that's still structurally here during this window, before some of this also has to come down. The infrastructure itself will have to eventually fade out into just a different way of being, into a different way of existing. That's not quite so when I'm doing channeled states, because it is a little too channel changey, and it's because the energetic shift and different things kind of come in. I'm trying to be a much more coherent and cohesive channeler for anybody who wants any of my channeling, because of how chaotic the world already is. I'm trying to be a stabilization for at least an hour, right? But that takes practice, and that takes time, and that takes intentionality, and it takes focus, and it takes it really does just take work. This is me working. And as your fellow coworker on YouTube, working from home, yeah. And yeah, a song wants to come out. More songs from my potential future? Hell yeah. So what am I trying to get people to do with these videos? Jam with me, of course. Hear me. That'd be nice. Huh. The dream. The dream of being heard by somebody in full. In full surround sound, in full stereo of who you fucking are. Like, I feel like I probably said it on a different video, but for real, like, who can hang with this every fucking day on a screen? My husband does it on a daily basis in person. He's the only one who ever has, because we never showed ourselves to anybody until him. And yeah, it was a Patricia Marva combo. Well, everybody inside actually, but it was Patricia who was like, I can feel what's going on in him. I mean, you can feel that in a lot of people though. But the first time we saw him making a sandwich for somebody, because he worked at Subway, like, went every week after church, with my mom. Like, that sucks, but like, there's just this guy. He was kind of cute. I didn't know how old he was. He looked young. He looked my age. He wasn't. He was like 3 or 4 years older than me. I was like, shit. He thought I was older. I thought he was younger. And by the time we got with each other, we were like, well, okay, for right now, this seems weird to anybody who looks at it, because I'm like 17 and you're like 20, but like, we're planning to be together for a long time. It'll work itself out, right? Plus, you're very immature. Right, but he was serving this customer who couldn't decide what bread she wanted, or no, so that took a while, and then she finally decided on her bread, but she couldn't then decide like what cold cut she fucking wanted. And I just watched this man that I didn't really know be like fairly polite for the first segment of it, and then when she just couldn't decide which cold cut to go with, I saw him take his hands, go into fists, and like just put them on the counter. Like he wasn't challenging her, wasn't doing anything. He was regulating himself. He was going, this bitch. There is a cute girl I want to fucking talk to right now who just walked in. I'm not going to be able to get to her because my fucking coworker who's doing someone else now is going to be the one who takes her order, and I can't talk to her now because you can't decide what you fucking want on a sandwich at a fucking Subway. That's like what came out of him, okay? Like, he didn't say a word. He didn't say a fucking word. But it's what he presented with. And Marva inside was basically like, oh, we can read him. All right, sold. I'm down. He's got the family love. He's got some trauma, so he can understand at least enough. He clearly can just hang with, like, things he doesn't want to deal with, and without reacting. He's non-reactive. He's non-reactive. That was what did it. He's non-reactive. And we saw that and thought, oh my God, he's safe. He's a safe person. He's a safe man. I'd been taught my whole life by my mother, who clearly had some shit in her past. But I had been taught that not only was I going to be abused, she constantly talked about it, especially as I got closer to college. That was my like go to college pep talk by somebody who didn't fucking go to college. Nobody in my family did. Was, you're gonna get raped. You're gonna go to college, and that's when you're gonna get raped. That's when you're gonna get, like, that. She was certain. She was certain. So much so, that dude, before I went to college, I was like, okay, I know I have this whole like Christian thing and like can't till we're married or whatever. Can we just like get engaged so that we can like have sex once so that I can go to college, and that way when I get raped, I'm not like worried about it? Not kidding. Literally what happened. Gave up the Christian, like, definitely won't have sex before marriage thing, which was ingrained, because it does. That shit gets ingrained, right? But yeah, summer before, because I did go away to college all the way to fucking Farmville. Awful experience for me. Oh my God. Came back to Richmond, and we got married the next year. I was 19 when we got married. We got married young because of Christian ideals and because of sex, because of like that as a thing. Absolutely. Yeah. I know, right? That feels weird for like a millennial to be like, yeah, that old school religious shit is what was there. But then, I don't know, I see the wave of old shit coming back up, and it's like more prominent than ever, and it's like, wow, man, these cycles just keep coming around and coming around, don't they? And I'm like, yeah, because they're part of that big collective energy, and I was a collective being, so I mostly operated under collective agreement levels of live my life. A lot of us do that. It's safer. It's so much safer. But we're not always super discerning when it comes to just what it is we want, what it is we really are ready for, and what it is we want to do next with our life. And unbeknownst to us, we always had varying degrees of voices of this, no this. To us, it was always just had the capacity for at least 5 different opinions on any given situation at any given time. Very different ones, too. My capacity for perspective shift is strong. Oh, and for us, it always has been. Anyone who is a collective being, capacity for perspective shift is strong. And that is something that if you haven't been yourself like working on, like it's the gym, like you're going to the gym, right? Like working on how to shift your perspective in a moment, you run the risk. Thank you. Those of you that felt the need to say, bless you. We're talking about religion stuff, right? I'm priming you to pull out the religious parts of you in this conversation. Because I definitely have no interest in churches, so much so that seriously, like, no offense to the Crimson Circle, I'm not calling y'all a church, but a lot of people who follow you definitely have you coded as church in that metadata part. And I know that because Patricia's who I was coming to like end a contract with, because she like had a contract, because Rainbow kind of made one, because when you do things with these organizations, when you like take their courses or you do some level of like ascended mastery, this like you're entering into Akashic level contracts with those organizations, with the entities that they're channeling. I don't know that we all know that, so I'm saying it now. And I just say that because your experience through a screen, and so your take on them, it might not be what the collective of the group actually thinks and believes and is coded to. And that's actually why I did I ended the contract that Patricia had, because I did not want to create a new one with them. I think it's awesome that groups exist, just like I think churches, and seriously, if you were like me and you had like love in your heart for like early days of Christian stuff, and especially you're in this world now and you're like, I don't know what to do. Let me just tell you, Unitarians, go to a Unitarian church. If you were a former Christian and you miss that Christian life and you want to just like make friends, find people who understand neurodivergence, find people who understand openness, like I've had a lot of success with a lot of Unitarians, and a lot of Unitarian churches have done a lot of social justice things with a lot of the nonprofits that I've worked at too. And like our whole lives, we built an entire like teen dating violence curriculum with that as our like Bible, kind of, just in the things that we were creating, because we were like, this is based in research and they've already done all the work for a lot of things, and like it's awesome. So yeah, like it's a curriculum on just human existence, right? And you learn about like if you've got a kid, you want them to like learn about the world and the potentials of things, and maybe not bring your religious trauma into it because you don't want to talk about this shit. Like Unitarians, they're probably where you want to go. And I don't just say that because every time I've seen a Unitarian church, I see rainbows outside of them. I don't just say that, but also it doesn't hurt. If you have a rainbow-headed kid, just look for the rainbows in your life. It's like the easiest signpost, right? Like we put the teal pumpkins out at Halloween when we're like, hey, this is a house that doesn't necessarily have candy. Here's a toy, right? Yeah. I'm not saying like, hey, everybody that's neurodivergent, like pull on rainbows, because no, like that's also used for a lot of things. But in my experience, personally, as a rainbow person and a rainbow brain person and a rainbow loving person, That's enough. Like signs, right? Like you look for the glimmers in your life. Glimmers for me are rainbows. I did a whole Hey Kathy about it if you want to join that Patreon. And I have a whole thing on my Substack about it, and I'm not going to talk about it right here. You can go do your homework about me if you really want to know. But seriously, rainbows are just a very helpful way of being like, hey, we're multifaceted here. Hey, we have ways of seeing things that are a little different here. Hey, we have, just, there's historical stuff here, too. We have conversations about a number of different things, but what you're looking for right now, maybe, is community. That's what we're all kind of looking for, isn't it? When we do any of these things, especially you're taking in spiritual content, you're looking for community. You're looking to kind of fill that religion gap, if you have it, a little bit. And you kind of build your own church protocols. And if you don't think you're doing it, document what you're taking in. Church of what? What are you doing to fill your cup that's currently empty on church or on religion? Because obviously I'm talking about a very specific monotheistic religion based on lived experience of mostly Christian stuff. White lady born in the 80s in the South, Southern Baptist. Stopped being a Christian after I finished the Bible. Actually, yeah. Still like hung out in the spaces and did stuff for a while and was still like, I'll hang out here. But once I was done with the Bible, I was like, oh, I see what they're doing here. Okay. I see what they're doing. I get it. Okay. I'll go explore something else. And then psychology became my religion. And that's obviously not my religion anymore now. I just have nothing but criticism about the psychological field while I tell people to constantly go seek mental health help. Just because the institution of psychology is a little fucked right now in a lot of ways, and just because a lot of institution things are bad, not the same thing as the individual glimmers of people who are continuing to expand their craft and expand what they're capable of holding space for and expand how they do things and how they're incorporating some of the changes that they're seeing in clients in their practices, right? And it always just comes back to somatics for me, because my own, like, our healing journey, like, you don't get to a frequency of self-love as a collective without being really good at trauma healing. Got to be expert in trauma healing. I can experience the worst of the worst experiences and experiment my way back out of it, while still dealing with the consequences of everything in my life and feeling like a piece of shit. And I'm just going to end this with a final thing, and I'm not putting a trigger warning on the beginning of the video, so if you're like, oh no, I don't want to hear something that might trigger something bad, turn it off. Go away. Don't keep watching. 'Cause I have a song from one of us inside that I already previewed and I approved to come out of me when I was ready. You're not gonna get my hands, 'cause I'm just singing about an altar of ours named Gun. He was a gun, and he was our suicidal altar part. He came in when the body was 3, alongside our bifurcation of fuck this, we're making sure at least one of us is safe from that experience. Scout never saw what happened or felt it, 'cause she only had access to everything above about here. Inside us, you can bifurcate the body if you need to on chakras. Well, at least that's what we did when this all happened to us. Not gonna talk about that trauma anymore. We've talked about it already, but it created a portal opening for another template creation that created a vortex of everything. That's it. It's time to go. It's time to go. Kept playing in this brain and body. And exit point. That's it. This is our last day. That was the song I was singing along every single day in my body. That's what others always felt with us. In every moment, they always felt that deeper presence inside of us that said, it's time, it's time, it's time. Every day inside, it simply would come out in somatic feelings and in those thoughts that simply say, it's time, it's time, it's time. It's time to be done every day. Whew. For 35 years, every day inside. And well, we were able to add our own notes to that song that said, I hear you and you're not going away, so okay. We'll just keep adding things and trying to harmonize in a way that says, hey dude, like, we hear you, but you're not the only one inside this body, so you don't get to decide for all of us. And the point of this song is just to be something that you notice before you let that part take over you. If you've ever had that song inside of you too, the one that says, please can I have my exit point now, in a conscious way that says, I choose my fucking exit point now. That voice, just want you to know that it's kinda not you. Actually, it's a piece of trauma that's just made a song, stuck in a loop, and it got attached into your body. We call that a free state. In psychology, we call it a free state. Great. Well, you can release those free states in your body. It just takes time and takes help too. Doing somatic work and a little bit of allowing yourself to sit with your shit. And sometimes, especially if that's a song inside of you, you don't really want to sit with it alone. You want to find a way to let it out of you. Let it out of you, so you know what you are working with. Inside, you can bring it out and have a conversation, a conscious conversation that says, I hear you, and honestly, like, you're not wrong, You're not wrong, honestly, if I only had your perception of my life. Just this idea that something about this will never get better and I'm a piece of shit, right? That's like literally a piece of perception that is just a piece of what you have in your orbit. You just might not be able to see or hear anything else. That's why having someone else be a mirror is helpful, 'cause they can hear that song and they can say, cool. Also though, I'm a trauma musician, right? That's basically what doing MDR and somatic experiencing is when you're a mental health professional with those extra degrees. Or at least I hope so, 'cause that song inside of us is kind of getting louder and louder for everyone who has not dealt with it. They maybe didn't know it was in there. It's in the collective though. And people are freaking out everywhere. So praying for exit points is happening more. And that song, it brings out your like songs. And when you entangle with people who are singing their versions of it are louder, right? 'Cause their versions of it are very reactive and they are the kind of thing that ignites you up inside. That song in you says, oh, I hear my tune. It's time for me to sing now too. Even if the tune is the one you don't want to play or hear, that's fine. But honestly, pay attention to your habits online and who you spend your time with, how you allow yourself to live your life. What are you addicted to? Are you addicted to the same music? It's kind of like when your kid wouldn't shut up about Frozen. I know that was a long time ago, but you're in the same loop as them. And let's face it, Let It Go's a way better song than whatever bullshit you're telling yourself about yourself. It's not true for you. It's not. It's like a program. It's a pattern. And if you had a lot of early childhood trauma, it could be an alter. You might not know. It could be a little brother sister type. It could be something inside of you that you left way back in the 80s. It could be a piece of you from the past that you just haven't dealt with yet. You never know what you're gonna get when you open yourself up to yourself. You never know who's coming out or what's coming out. You don't pay attention to yourself that much, even if all you do is talk about yourself. You're usually just talking about your problems or your perspectives. You're not really talking about whatever's happening in your internal constellation of constantly moving things. You are struggling to be in all these places at once. Yeah, because you have unresolved shit, and right now you don't get to ignore it anymore. That's why I recommend a little bit of spiritual content in some way right now, 'cause you just want to have some level of more than you conversations to get yourself out of the pattern of me right, you wrong. Me right, you wrong is not really helping your body. me right, you wrong, especially when the things are coming through screens. You're communicating with people at work or friendships, right? It's all coming through screens, and sometimes when you're listening to the songs and only paying attention to things that make you terrified, but you can't do anything about it, right? Literally, maybe you donate, but that's the most you can honestly do. Means you need to slow the fuck down. Your body cannot handle that shit. If it could, you'd be some sort of writer for late night TV. They have community, they have a workplace where they go after they've taken all of the same information in, and then they do something artistic with it. They resolve that energy, and we've never really studied it, but I'm curious about literal health repercussions of constantly reporting on the regular shitty news. Are y'all okay? I'm serious. I don't think that we've studied it, but are there health implications based on what you do in your job right now when you're synthesizing all of this emotional stuff into something else? Are you healthier than most? Or do you have cancer or something? Like, I literally am curious. Are there patterns to what we can see in how we do communications? I get information from body sources that say right now is a better time to slow down than do your own game of being a co-worker with those folks. You don't need to keep up with recent events. That's the whole point of those shows. And if those shows are too much for you, your body can tell you. And if not your body, then maybe if you're being more of a bitch than you normally are, it would be helpful to just slow down, slow down, slow down. I can hear the keyboard part with some extra things. And then it kind of just fades out into someone else doing their own extra flourish at the end, right? Bring. That's kind of where I got. So I don't know who that was. I hope somebody was jamming out to that whole thing. Yep, had a suicidal part. His name was Gunn. Got him to be able to feel the self-love resonance too. You really can heal things. Even things that for a very long time you just kind of were like, well, all right. So some of us want to kill ourselves. Well, that tracks. That feels about right. And every time he would come up, and it would be very strong, he would say, he'd just, it would actually, there would be a somatic feeling of a gun. Like we would feel it because he anthropomorphized, like looking as kind of a gun, like dark figure, but really like actually a gun, because the earlier certain entities get formed inside of you, the less human they have the capacity to be, right? Because you're trying to help a 3-year-old brain have space for evil, kinda. I mean, if we're really gonna call it that, but like just dark, dense, heavy shit. We have other labels for it, but like ending of life, yeah, that's on the spectrum of like things that humans have, as far as this one we classify as good, this one we classify as evil. He came with a lot of baggage, and he was holding all the space for all the worst things that have ever happened to us collectively, to the body. and included some really fucked up things by more than just one person. Just, and I know I laugh when I say it. I just, it's sort of a bridge back out for myself so I don't get stuck there. Actually, that's also a little bit part of healing. It might look like dissociation a little bit, sort of, but I've just gotten to the point where I'm like filtering through the memories, right? I'm like, that happened. Yep, that happened. Yep, that happened. Oh yeah. Oh God, I forgot about that one, right? Like, there's metadata to them. They're encoded through different internals. None of them are mine. And this also like isn't new information to me. That's why I think it's funny. It's not funny. It's just I'm in awe of how absolutely far we've been able to get ourselves, and then how much further all of that preparation has gotten me since last year. Like, holy shit. And I have no idea if the kinds of things that come out of me are healing to anyone else, but they are for me. Singing out your trauma, it certainly could go in different directions. That's why I really don't recommend doing what I'm doing without fucking protections. I didn't start doing this until I literally had my former internal family back online inside of me as guidance, because humans are not capable of holding space for this in a way that's you're holding space for me right now. You are. And I feel safe enough to do that because I got really tired of paying for therapy and then doing all my own therapy and having to explain shit to someone, because that just got annoying. It got annoying. It's like, why am I paying you when I've been doing this all on my own and I don't really feel supported? Like, I've never been supported by external people. I'm supported by my husband. He has a hard time right now providing support, so I'm kind of bolstering him a little bit more. And like, even the singing I just did now, I heard him slam a door while I did it. He gets triggered every time I sing, every time I do big sorts of things, because he's still dealing with this shit. He's still not reactive though, and that may have just been a coincidence, but I felt like this very shut up, I'm trying to work feeling a little bit. Thank you, Corbin. Thank you. Dude, stop. And yes, I'm still talking because there's still a level of personal transmission that comes out, and I'm not going to shut off an Akashic Record container before the channel is out. But like, that was a really big energy channel situation, right? My face is currently feeling a little flushed. Not a full body, like, hot flash is sort of what happens after big channels or during big channels. Sometimes you get like a really big body, full body hot flash. Physical overwhelm of the system. Because sometimes you just need big, like big things are happening, especially if you're channeling in big information. You're kind of getting a big body purge too, to like light you up and just like it's like a really quick fever, right? To be like, okay, all right, we're primed and we have pulled all the like nasties out, like all the sediment has come out because you have this really high vibration stuff, so it churns up all the stuff in the bottom part, and then that kicks on some hormonal process that's like, all right, and now we flush, fever, flush it out. Like, that's sort of what happens when, as you channel, you kind of, it allows your body and mind, while you're distracted with the channeling, to work on your behalf to take care of some memories you don't need and some body encoded stuff in cells you don't need and whatever DNA shit they've been working on to rejuvenate stuff and remove stuff. A lot of those processes happen at night, but when you're sleeping. But if you've quantumly entangled with a billion fucking things, your body doesn't get a chance to like take care of the removal of the quantum entanglements that you've gotten yourself into. So channeling can help with that. But at your own personal life will change capacity. Like, I'm no longer on standard life script mode. At present, I'm on fantasy trajectory of being a person that people are helped by in a big way. And at least kind of new as a person you've probably not seen before, right? I've been hiding intentionally because it is the disorder of hiding. That's why I'm trying to just be like, hey, I didn't know about the DID till I was 33. And I kind of knew a lot about psychology and self-help at the time. Maybe you have more going on inside of you than you realize, and maybe it's not that. It's probably not that, but that doesn't also mean that you don't have pieces of yourself. IFS, look into it. Richard Schwartz, he's amazing. And Body Keeps a Score, fucking read it, right? Read it. The fuck else are you doing? Take minutes at work and read it. All right, I'll leave this with the final thing because I actually think this is a good idea. Just saying. For your own sake and your own health and well-being, and if you have a kid between the ages of like 3 and 8, well, you can even go like age it down, but whatever. Like, have you ever had a dream of being a YouTuber? Like, honestly, like be real with me. And sometime in the last, when YouTube came out, at any point, did you think, I kind of want to do that? Just a little bit. If so, try this. When you need to take a break at work, and you need to fucking take breaks at work, you need to. Every single fucking HR person should be like, all right, make sure you take your break today, right? Literally go outside, because it's if you can just take 30 minutes and go fucking walk outdoors, get some fucking exercise in, give yourself a fucking playtime, right? You will come back and be a better employee, and you will not drag this company down with your attitude problems or your like lack of capacity to do work because you're so fucking overwhelmed. They already know you're taking breaks to look at all the news. Take a break and go without your fucking phone and go on a walk, or take your phone, but like do it with the Seek app. Like become a bird watcher a little bit. Go fucking find birds, right? Like bird time. Just do some fucking bird time, all right? Every day, go look at a bird. Go find a bird. Go see if you can figure out what the birds are, because I fucking can't, right? Like, just go do it. Fucking go do it. HR people, tell your people to go do it. I was a good manager, okay? And I didn't tell my people to go outside because I assumed that they would, but like, yeah. In addition to that, YouTube's probably like a thing you're not allowed to do at work, right? Well, then fuck it. Go be the YouTube. Find one of your kids' favorite books that every night when you read to them, and fucking read to them. If you're not reading to them, read to your kids every night. I don't care what you're doing. Read to your fucking kids every night, okay? Just do it. Do it from the person who couldn't have kids, but who did like everything for the first 15 years before finally fucking giving up to do everything to be a proper parent. Not like a good parent, just like as best as I could be. Read fucking books to your kids, okay? Read them to bed. Don't let them have screens before bed. It will fuck with their ability to go to sleep. It just will. Lots of science behind it, okay? But also quantum entanglements and stuff. Like, book. Read them a fucking book. Read them 3 books. Don't read them more than 3 books. Y'all need to go to fucking sleep, but go to sleep. Read your own book, right? They're books about it. Here you go. Read your own book. But find their favorite book and then read it to them. Record yourself reading their favorite book. Make your own YouTube channel. Subscribe them to your YouTube channel without them knowing about it. And then when you as a family are just having living room scroll together time, which valid, right? Put music on when you do that. Or if the kid's phone is the only one that's allowed to have the noise, cool, right? Like, it's just the modern hangout, watch TV together. You're just on your individual devices. But if you're in the same like room, that's basically parallel play. For those for ADHD brained folks and for autism brained folks, that's nice. That's a nice time. It's the same thing as like hanging out with your dog. Like, my dogs just hang out with me. We don't interact the whole time. They would like me to. The answer is no, right? Right? Like just fucking, yeah, allow the screen time. Everybody gets an hour of screen time. Yay! You can do your doom scrolling. They can do their fun scrolling. Like, make it fun. And like, see if they want to watch you read stories or do something stupid. Do a little puppet show, right? You know you have puppets. You know you could do a show. If you could do a show for your kids, 10 minutes, don't make it too long. Don't make it this. 10-minute show for your kids or less, because like a book, how long does a book really take to read? And then just put it on there. Reading a book to your kid on YouTube is not going to get you fired. If you're like me, well, yeah, probably. But don't be like me. Be like you. Be you to your kid. Talk to your kid. Just, hey, buddy, I'm going to read you this today. Ready? Here we go. And then just do it. Do the voices. Do the stupid shit. Do it. And before you post it, watch yourself back first, because maybe you won't like it. Maybe you will see that you cuss and you're like, oh no, I'm the reason that my kid says shit all the time. Damn it. Like, maybe. So do it again. Try it again. Because eventually you'll get to a point where you're like, all right, okay, that's not bad. All right, little wannabe like person on the internet, here you go. And then maybe the next time you're scrolling, you'll hear your own voice come out of their phone, and then fucking watch what happens if they're watching you. And then maybe they can just watch you read that fucking book every goddamn day if they want to, and then maybe you guys can get new books, like from the library. Wouldn't that be nice to not have to read the same goddamn book every day? Let them have it as you performing while you take a break from the things that maybe you really enjoy your job, but you still need a break from it. And maybe you have that guilt of, I don't see you and I'm sorry. Okay, talk to them. Do it asynchronously. It's asynchronously. Be your kid's favorite YouTuber. That's pretty important right now. The parasocial relationships for this generation are strong. Oh, I feel into it when I feel into the Akashic Records of the YouTube, and I'm like, holy shit, these kids like see YouTubers the same way I saw people on my screens, as heroes, as you're someone not in my house that I can trust and I feel safe with. And I'm not saying like, you know, force your kids to watch your videos, because that's how you know if you're kind of a narcissist. Yeah, if you literally can't stand that your family won't watch your videos, you gotta deal with the narcissism just a little bit, just a little. Just deal with it, okay? But it does mean that you have those traits. Like, it does. It does, okay? It just does. If you literally can't stand to not control everyone in your household, watch the video I made. If you can't just let that feeling go and be cool with the fact that they don't want to watch it, like, I don't force my husband to watch things, but I did ask if he would watch a video. Then I made him work out real hard, because the more physically beat you are, the more honest you are. Because you can just, the flow, right? If you can do like a really intense physical activity, like HIIT, right? High intensity interval training. Do a really intense level of that, whatever that looks like for you. And then try to get something out of yourself you've been struggling to say. They'll come out easier. Breaking down literal physical barriers, and it comes out. And I was able to get actual feedback about videos that I was asking for him to watch. Not because I need him to watch them, just because I'm studying myself, studying him, and calibrating everything, right? All right. Well, this is my longest video to date. And I'm going to go talk to my husband about the door slam that I heard, and just to make sure that he's cool. And do a little bit of aftercare. Because when you trigger somebody and you care about them and you want to make sure that they are okay, you go deal with your shit, and then you just go offer some, hey, this is what I heard. Was I tapped into something, or is there something I can help you with, or something we can talk about? And really, just, I'm very sensitive to the needs of my ailing husband emotionally, right? So, thank you for watching. Bye.